As a man, is it a problem if the woman that you're dating or married to makes more money than you in the household? Well, if so, we're going to dig deep into this video and explain to you why you need to change that identity immediately. Hey, Jason here. If you've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me now 10 years in the game as an expat slash nomad. I'm on my fourth country, third continent, here in Lusaka, Zambia, in the southern region of Africa. And what I've started doing is sharing with you what I've learned along this 10-year journey to be able to be successful at this. And most importantly, to share with you, in case you're thinking about becoming an expat or already one, why you should be looking into Zambia as an option because of the opportunities that's here. And no one is talking about these things. And so let's go ahead and dig into today's topic, which is, as a man, if your woman is making more money than you, do you feel less than her? Or does it emasculate you? Now, I was watching YouTube today, radio interview that's here in Zambia. It's one of the she talks. She's a Zambian who talks about trust, bonds, and different investment strategies. And it's someone that I follow here because she's very knowledgeable on it, and it is easier and faster for me to pick her knowledge, her level of understanding, and then apply that to as I'm investing in the stocks, bonds, and government treasuries here. And so this is something that I actually recommend a lot of people to do. Don't think just because someone's a man, they have more information. There are a lot of knowledgeable women out here. And in her interview, she brought up something that was very interesting. She was talking about how some women are afraid to actually go and earn more money, and some men discourage their women to go make more money because it makes them feel less than. It could be cultural issues where people are judging them for not being the man of the house. But what does that really mean? What are you really doing? And this is one of the things that I think is a big problem that is plaguing a lot of families in the world now today is we're holding on to these traditional or cultural things that don't even have any meaning or understanding in the world that we live in now. We're not back in the 1950s. We're not back in the 1800s. And so a lot of these traditions and cultural things have to become adjusted. And one of those big ones is you're not the man of the house if you're not earning all the money. That's just silly in the world that we live in today. Like, let's be completely honest here. People are not having 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids, and people are not living on hectares or acres of land like they used to. So because we're not the traditional farmers like the world used to be, where you were sun up to sundown, you were working and providing for yourself and your family, you don't need all those kids anymore. And some people just don't want to have kids like that. Let's be honest, like we've all seen someone or someone close to us or someone in our family who had struggles because they may have had too many kids that they could handle at the time. We live in a cash society. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you still need cash. Like even when I went to Cashapp just a few days ago, went out there to the village to talk to the town council, to do an interview for getting some land. Guess what? They were paying for things in cash. They were using kwacha to pay for things. There wasn't no, oh, my cousin, oh, my brother, here, have this for today. People need money in the world that we live in. And to put all of that stress and pressure on yourself as a man, it's kind of silly when you don't have to. Like, there was times while Cece was still around, she made more money than me. Most people don't know this. There was a time where I quit working to pursue my military pension. And it took about 2.5 years to fully get it to where it was at a decent level. Like when they first gave me part of my pension, it was like $300 a month. That ain't nothing in the United States. I think $300 is maybe close to 9 or 10,000 kwacha. That was nothing. That was barely enough to cover our insurance on our vehicles. And then I could take her to a movie once a month. That's all I was bringing in while she was carrying the bulk load of the financial issues. Now, the catch is, and this is what people don't talk about, and this is what people don't explain when it comes to relationships, When you get in a marriage or even just a partnership, it's no longer you're the man, she's the woman. It's the relationship. The relationship is what is important. It become a symbiotic unit. Like so many people are approaching marriages and partnerships and just relationships as a whole as two separate entities. This is why people are always asking the silly question, what do you think about 50-50? Who gives a damn about 50-50? You both need to be 100-100 in that. You have to put your all into that relationship. You have to go all in and support each other. No one else is coming to save you. Like, if you're a married couple, think about it. Who's going to come and pay your bills if you can't pay your bills for the next 2 or 3 months? People are not just coming out here to save you like that. This savior complex, which we have all been taught to believe in so wholeheartedly, is keeping a lot of us in poverty situations. And now when I say poverty, most people, they automatically go to a very negative. I'm not poor, I'm not this. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not judging your money. I'm just saying, what are the things that you want to do? When you think of the term poverty and you hear it, you need to be asking yourself, what is it more that I want in my life? How do I want my life to be happier, better? All of those things. That's how you get out of poverty. So many people think like I can just out earn myself of poverty. But you know, most people who are in poverty situations are just paycheck to paycheck. Like I think the last study was 88% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. If they have any emergency that costs over 500 US dollars at one time, they are now completely broke and have nothing to fall back on. And those numbers, they adjust no matter where you go. It's almost about an 80-20 split no matter where you go in the world. 80% are not doing great, 20% are doing better. And if you want to get into that 20%, you have to understand how to get out of the poverty mindset. Now, if you saw my other video, I told you the best way to change your situation is not about focusing on your mindset. It is about changing your self-identity. Here's the kicker. If you want to get out of poverty mindset, you change your self-identity around things that you hold true and you put all of your faith in. One of those things that I keep seeing with a lot of guys is, I can't be with a woman that wants to make more than me. She's going to leave me. And they're coming from a fearful place. So that is a guy who has a self-identity of, if my woman is doing better than me, she's going to look down upon me. Meaning he has some type of self-esteem issues within himself that he doesn't feel like he is whole. He doesn't deserve to be loved by a woman who may be making more money than him. This is the kicker. A lot of women are better at saving money than men. So like for me, I used to let Cece handle most of the money. She was a better saver. However, most men are better investors. This is why most partnerships are not working out. People are using physical gender roles and applying them to different parts of the relationship. Cooking and cleaning does not mean that is a feminine thing. Saving money does not mean that's a masculine thing. It's about who has the stronger energy when it comes to doing those things. Like for me, while I was married, I preferred to cook. I did the majority of the cooking, about 90% of the time. Those few times that I was really tired or didn't feel like doing it, we would either go out to eat, have a nice dinner together, or she would take over the load and cook. When it came to saving money, Cece was the one who did majority of the saving. When it came to finding avenues to invest money, I did majority of the avenues of investing the money. That's how we went to a six-figure business, making money on crypto and all of these things. And some of the same things I'm doing now. The only catch is now, instead of me being able to give the load of the saving to her, I'm doing it. It didn't never meant that I couldn't do it. It just meant it wasn't my strongest suit. And this is where men and women need to start opening their communication. Because if you start opening your communication about better, and if you also start letting each other know about what are you afraid of. Like when Cece and I first started having conversations really deep about money, I told him like, look, I remember seeing my mom when she was struggling with money, when times was rough and there was no one there to help her. I remember seeing it. I remember seeing physically people robbing from Peter to pay Paul, like moving money around, skipping a bill, post-dating checks. That scared me. I didn't want to live that life. I didn't want to have that stress. Now, it did create a stressor that I naturally have according towards money, that I'm changing that identity now. But I had to share that information with her so she could understand, this is why I want you to be the one that's saving if you're better than me. And then she even shared with me, like, seeing her parents, immigrants coming from Trinidad and Tobago, struggling, making ends meet, working odd end jobs, how her dad was doing, her mom working for corporations. And they're just trying to figure it out, get it together. And she said she didn't want to be in that situation. She wanted to be in a place where she didn't have to worry about money. And so, because both of us had that shared goal when it comes to money, we started actually learning about money. And this is something that I encourage every couple to do. Find a money mentor. It can be Dave Ramsey. It can be Grant Cardone. It can be Susie Orman. I can't remember her name. She's in Canada. Really good money manager too. Her show was called Till Debt Do Us Part. Really great show. It's an old show, but she gave really good, solid money advice. There's people all on YouTube. There's people on TikTok. Like, follow someone that resonates with both of you and make it a couple's goal. Because the thing is, once you start realizing the shared fear that you have and how you don't want to have to experience that in your relationship, you stop having these insecurities of, oh, will she leave me if she make more money, or will he leave me if he becomes rich? Like, one of the things I always hear guys talk about, and this shows me their money mindset and their money self-identity, is they bring up Jeff Bezos and they're like, oh man, his wife, this just shows you why marriage is a scam. His wife took all of that money from him and she didn't do nothing. If you think any man that is married and he can amount or make a lot of money and become very successful, and his wife did not have a crucial part to do with that, you are crazy. Listen to me, you're crazy. She had a pivotal role to do with him actually being able to become one of the richest men in the world. He didn't do that on his own. Yes, he's the founder of Amazon, but you don't think he threw ideas across to her? You don't think those days when things did not seem like it was going to ever work out, and he went and confided in her with his insecurities, his fears, and she didn't tell him, hey, you got this, babe. Hey, you're going to do this. I believe in you. That is what a relationship looks like. Most people, when they're in their relationship, their focus is on their relationship. That's why you don't see many married people coming back and teaching others how to have a successful marriage, because it takes work. It takes time. You are draining not only yourself emotionally and physically, you're dumping all of that in the relationship, because you're no longer, I'm Jason, I'm CC, or man and woman. You're the marriage, you're the relationship. It has to become symbiotic. And this is some of the things that are holding so many families back from reaching the goals that they want to reach financially. So my takeaway from this is, for you, if you're in a relationship, or even if you're not, you want to be in a relationship, just take time today or tomorrow and just write down 3 of your financial fears. What are you afraid of when it comes to money? What are you afraid of when it comes to not having enough money? Like, what is it that you're afraid of? Think about it. Because like, even now, I still have fears of going broke. Like, I never want to be a person that's broke again. This is why it drives me to always be looking for new opportunities. There's going to come a day in a few years when people wake up and they see how much land I'm buying, all the things that I'm investing in here, all the businesses that I plan on doing here. Even within South Africa, I'm looking at land right now. People are gonna be like, yo, how the hell did Jason do this? Because I know my fears when it comes to money. I know where I don't want to be ever again. And because I know where I don't want to be, I'm seeing the future where I want to be. I want to be that guy that has a private jet. Hell, if I want to have my own private yacht, I want that. And you should want that too. But before you can get to where you want, you do need to know what are you afraid of, because it's the fear that's holding you back from making the moves that are crucial to giving you those pivotal points that's going to really change your life and shoot you off to a direction that you never thought could come true. So just do that for today. 3 things dealing around money that you're afraid of. Some of us may need to go a little deeper. Some of it may be childhood. Some of it may be things you saw from your family. And just focus on that, because once you start understanding those fears, that is part of your self-identity when it comes around money. Do I want to talk about, yeah, let me just say this real quick, because I'm gonna do a long video on self-identity, because a lot of people are confusing mindset as if mindset is the mastery of everything. Most of us have no clue what the mind really is, how to operate it, or how to utilize it. I saw Jim Quick. If you don't know Jim Quick, he's probably one of the top teachers of mindset. And he does a lot of work to keep his mindset in a very good place. And what he wrote down, and I was looking and I'm like, this isn't something the average ordinary person can just jump into. And this is why you have to start focusing on your self-identity. However, we have multiple identities within us. You have a religion identity, you have a political identity, you have a gender identity, you have a financial identity, you have a what is considered fun identity, you have a rearing kids identity. Like, you have so many self-identities within you. I think sometimes either some people are making it super simplified, like, oh, just say you want to be this and then you're this. No, you have to feel that at your core. You have to resonate and vibrate at that frequency of the new self-identity. Once you change the frequency of your self-identity around a specific area, you will actually start changing your mindset around that area. Your mindset will begin to expand. The mindset is elastic. It expands. It's a non-popping rubber band that continually expand. And that is how you actually change your mindset. It's through the self-identity. If you have questions about that, just ask them down below and I'll shoot a video on it and go more specific. If you want to know what type of books, which books you can read about that, you can do The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. And you can do Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. Great books. And these are some of the books that I read and listen to on a yearly basis. I don't just read books for one time and then like, oh, I know all the information. I actually listen to them and read them on repeat over and over again. I have a whole catalog of books that I'm always listening to. Like now I'm doing As a Man Thinketh. Then I'm about to go to The Science of Getting Rich and Science of, it's a whole series. I can't remember the other one by, man, I can't remember his name right now. But I'll get it to you. But The Science of Getting Rich, The Science of Being Healthy, and then The Science of not being powerful. It's the science of like self-mastery. But I'm going to share all those with you. So if you're looking for some of the content that I'm reading over and over again, that's what I'm reading. If you don't have time to physically get a book and read it, or have the money to physically get a book, just go to YouTube and type in the name of the book and audiobook. There's almost every book in the world now, especially if it's professional development, has now been uploaded to YouTube in their audiobook format. So I definitely recommend doing that. Like I said before, if you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below. And just remember this, I'm Jason, and success is simple once you know how.